Hi, everyone, and welcome to our developer track of Square Unboxed. My name's Richard. I'm a developer advocate here at Square, and I'm joined with Aaron and Neal.
Hi, I'm Aaron Szerlip, and I'm the product manager for the Orders API team.
All right. And I'm Neal McSherry. I'm the product manager for Square Loyalty.
Great. So let's go ahead and get started. And I think we're going to go ahead and kick things off with Loyalty API.
Hey, everyone. Neal McSherry again, PM for Square Loyalty. Perfect. Thank you. So wanted to talk about the Loyalty API. Very excited. Got a great announcement that we'll go ahead and talk about after this presentation. But again, super excited to talk about this today, and let's go ahead and go to the next slide. So Square Loyalty API, why did we do this? What does it do? How does it help? Traditionally, the loyalty program was, as we would say, handcuffed to the point of sale. And as the Square ecosystem evolves, and as sellers and buyers are transacting in places other than Square point of sale, we needed to facilitate loyalty across the ecosystem. We talk about this as an omni-channel strategy. We wanted to be able to facilitate loyalty wherever a customer wants to transact. Next slide. So just to dive, before we get into the details of the Loyalty API, I just wanted to talk a little bit about Square Loyalty. We think about it as a simple digital customer rewards program. Please don't tell the engineers that I said simple, because it is certainly not a simple program to manage. What I mean by simple is we like to think that it is simple for both a seller to operate and a buyer to engage with. Currently, we're integrated with all Square point of sales. We think of Square for restaurants, retail, appointments, and Square point of sale. We are also integrated with Square Online, as well as Cash App. In terms of our sellers or our merchants, they're able to create their loyalty program. They can customize their unit name, if they want to call their points stars, whatever unique name they want to call them. They can choose what their program type is. So if they want to support a spend-based program, category-based, visit-based, all those things are available. They can customize their earning criteria. So how many points, if they're running a spend-based program, how many dollars equals a point, $1, 1 point. And then after that, they can also then customize how many points will redeem a reward. So let's say $1 for 1 point and 10 points equals a free coffee. From a buyer participation standpoint, very simple. They enroll via their phone number. They can check in to earn points, and they can also redeem rewards. And again, not just at the Square point of sale, but across the platforms that we are integrated with. Next slide. So trying to get into the details of the API, obviously there's a lot of documentation out there, and this very quick presentation could not possibly cover it. But just wanted to highlight some of the key endpoints that we support. So some of the actions that we support are the ability to retrieve information about a seller's loyalty program, create new loyalty accounts, retrieve and search existing loyalty accounts, accrue loyalty points to a loyalty customer's account, and redeem loyalty points to apply to a reward to a given order. So like I said, much more to this API. Just wanted to highlight some of the key endpoints for this presentation. Next slide. So other features we want to call out as well. So we have sandbox support. We offer webhooks. And 2 integrations that are really key to this from the customer directory perspective. We talk a lot from the loyalty team, the buyer programs team, about how important loyalty is in terms of building that contact list. It's one of the greatest ways I can think about in terms of wanting to get the type of information from a customer that you would want to reach back out. It's a give and take. You get your customer information, we can reward you for that type of thing. So customer directory, this integration not only allows us to create the loyalty account, but it also allows to create a customer account as well that can be used across the Square ecosystem. And the Orders API integration is important as well. This really simplifies the flows for developers when it comes to accruing points and redeeming rewards. Next slide. So we got a little demo for you. we'll go ahead and tee this up.
In this demo, we are going to show you how to redeem a loyalty reward with an order using Loyalty API. First, we can use this retrieve endpoint to get the details of loyalty program. So here we have a reward tier configured, which is 10% off 1 coffee by using 3 points. Next, we will search the buyer's loyalty account by typing in their phone number. This is how we identify a loyalty customer. Here you can see this customer has 18 loyalty points. Next, we're going to create an order for this customer. In this order, we have 1 coffee and 1 water. We will take this order ID and create a loyalty reward. To create a loyalty reward, we need order ID and a reward tier ID, which applies to the order. The reward tier ID, you can find it from the loyalty program. In our example, we want to have 10% off 1 coffee. Now we create a loyalty reward and reserve 3 points. Because the loyalty reward already applied to the order, we can take a look at the updated order information. Here, from the details of the order, you can find we have 1 coffee and 1 water. For the coffee item, we applied the loyalty reward, which is 10% off. And in the end of this object, you can find the ID of the reward tier, which ties back to the reward tier configured in the loyalty program. In the end, we will create a payment to complete the order. Once the payment got completed, you can retrieve the updated loyalty information. Here, you will find the updated loyalty points, because we used the sum to redeem a loyalty reward.
Okay, we can go to the next slide. Sorry for the volume. It sounds like it was a little muffled for the first part of that presentation. So moving on, just want to talk about some of the key feature gaps of the API. So currently, the program can only be configured via the seller dashboard. So what this means is a seller with a loyalty subscription has to configure the program. This cannot do it via the loyalty API. So you must work with a seller who has an active loyalty subscription. And then as well, we can only support 1 loyalty account for a merchant. So what this means is you cannot support a different accrual or rewards for within a merchant across different locations, or let's say you want to set up a different type of program for, let's say, a Square online store versus the Square point of sale. So those are the 2 feature gaps we'd like to call out. Next slide. So this was the announcement that I wanted to come out today and let everyone know that it's generally available as of today. We are very excited about this. It's been a long time coming for the team, and there's been a lot of energy and effort that's gone into this. So again, we're really excited to announce this today. Really excited to see the possibilities. We've already seen some good integrations through beta, and looking forward to seeing what the future holds with this API. So shout out to the team for bringing this to the finish line, and looking forward to the future. Before we wrap it up, I just wanted to highlight a little bit about pricing. So it's free. You can start to build into the Loyalty API sandbox at no cost. And again, to build out a program, it is free as well for developers. You just need to work on behalf of a seller with an active loyalty subscription. And then what I've highlighted on the right as well is just the seller pricing, so you're aware of the pricing on the seller side. We have a a month per location based off of visits, and you can see the breakdown there as well. And again, to get started, you can create a test program in Sandbox. If you wanted to work on a live version in production, you have to work with a seller with an active subscription. So again, shout out to the team. Thank you for listening. Really excited to be able to announce this today, and I will pass it off to Aaron.
All right, thank you, Neal. Now, again, I'm Aaron Szerlip. I'm the product manager for the Orders API team, and today we're going to talk about what's available. Next slide, please. So Orders API helps integrate many other parts of Square's ecosystem and connects many other primitives that we have available to help manage and track full life cycles of orders, including payments and fulfillments. You can also add items, track inventory, and really I'm pretty biased, but I feel like Orders is a connective tissue of many of our primitives within Square and can really be leveraged to build really powerful apps by our developer community. Next slide, please. So here you can see, when building out an order, you can add items from your catalog. We have prices and taxes or discounts defined there. You can deduct inventory when orders get paid. You can track, inventory. You can also make sure that tips are getting split across your employees for certain instances. You can add customer information, which is really important when you want to have, customers racking up loyalty points. And so we do have an integration with loyalty, and even you can claim loyalty rewards in order to get discounts on your orders. And really importantly, you can pay your orders. So using all these different primitives, Orders helps connect many different parts of Square's ecosystem to help Square sellers with their operations. Orders are really prevalent in Square Online and also can be used for certain instances in Square on Restaurants and Square for Retail. And in the not so distant future, Orders will help power Square Point of Sale, as well as Square Online, which will help our sellers to be really more omni-channel to serve their customers. Next slide, please. I want to show you some of the key endpoints that are available for Orders, which can be used to create, edit, and then retrieve or search for your orders as needed. We also have a newer endpoint called CalculateOrder, which I'll talk about a little bit more later. And then finally, a pay order that allows you to pay your order, which is really important for all of our sellers. Next slide, please. I do want to give now a little bit of example of how complex integrations can be using Orders APIs and the other APIs available from Square. Next slide. So this is an example from one of our current sellers. That's an entertainment venue. And on the left-hand side, you can see the actual physical layout. So they have orders coming in through a mobile channel, as well as self-serve kiosks and Square point of sale systems that form a perimeter around an actual restaurant fulfillment hub. Orders as they come in get dynamically routed to each fulfillment window based on shortest fulfillment time, and then customers' names get displayed above that window so that they know exactly where to pick up their order. On the right-hand side, you see how all the different integrations are working to power this very complex workflow. So we have order ahead apps that are providing orders from mobile devices, self-serve kiosks, as well as Square point of sale, with all of these channels feeding into the Orders API and then being used to dynamically route the orders, as I had mentioned. We also have really complex integrations here, along with payments, catalog, inventory, just to name a few, to help this seller manage their entire operations. And then beyond that, all of these APIs are integrated with a number of third-party systems to help them manage, accounting, financials, payroll, track inventory, and ultimately report on all of the operations that they have going on. So just a little example of how complex integrations with Orders API can get. Next slide, please. Yeah, CalculateOrder now, perfect. And so this is a newer API that's available, and I want to mention it today since it's currently in beta, but publicly available to every developer to use. It's really useful because it helps you price out an order without actually having to create one. And this is valuable because you can then preview all of the pricing to your customers, including taxes, discounts, as well as loyalty rewards that have been applied to an order without having to create an order. And really the benefit of this is you don't have to actually use up a customer's loyalty points. And you're able to preview the pricing so that the customer can make a decision whether or not they want to move forward with the checkout and ultimately reduce the amount of abandoned, like open orders you might have in your system. So if you're not using CalculateOrder today, in order to preview order pricing, I strongly encourage you to use it. Next slide. And now I just want to wrap up with a couple of early access programs that we have available for order manager sellers and developers. So if you're a developer that's using V2 orders, V2 payments, and consuming orders webhooks, you are eligible to take part in programs for one of these really exciting features. And so those include being able to delay an order, which is really powerful if a seller hits a rush period. Let's say they're a quick service restaurant and they want to pause or slow down the influx of orders coming in from different channels. They're able to do that directly from Order Manager, which will reset a new pickup or delivery time, which can then get communicated to you via orders webhooks. And so you can communicate to that buyer exactly when their order will be available. We're also now providing payment flexibility so that you can actually fulfill an order and then capture payment afterwards. And also now being able to cancel orders in which the payment has been authorized but not captured. And then lastly, we now have the full ability to add and edit cart items within the order before they've been paid. And this is really valuable for many restaurant food and beverage scenarios, which you can build directly into your app. So if you are interested in taking part in these programs, please reach out to Nichata at squareup.com, and she's the product manager that runs our order manager team. And yeah, I hope we get lots of interest. Thanks so much. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to Richard to give us our demo now.
Awesome, thank you. So we're going to go ahead and switch over to actually demoing our example app that shows order ahead and with an integration with Loyalty API. So 1 second while we get this switched on over. And here we go. So what I'm showing here is our example app. So if you actually go into our docs and look at our order ahead example app, this is actually what you'll get spun up. Within there, there's some example scripts for seeding an account. But let's go ahead and just walk through this from end to end. So initially here, we're just pulling everything in from a seller's catalog. And so you can see as we click in on a detail, we have the name of the item, a description, and its pricing. So let's go ahead and click buy. And here we're creating a fulfillment for our order. And so as part of creating a fulfillment, we actually need to specify what our delivery method is. So in this case, I'm just going to go ahead and click pickup. And then now we have to enter in the recipient information for that fulfillment. So I'm just going to put in my name here, and I will plug in a phone number. And then I can select what pickup time I want. So I'm going to go ahead and pick 1 o'clock. And then here, I'm going to click continue to payment. And then here we're loading in our payment form on the left. And then you can see we have an integration here for our loyalty. So if I go ahead and I plug in my phone number, I can go ahead and check in with that phone number. And then what it's going to do is it's going to show me the amount of points I have available and what rewards I could redeem. So I'm going to go ahead and redeem this 10% off for the entire sale. And so you can see it's now been applied to my order. So I can go ahead and plug in my Sandbox Test credit card. Then when I click pay with card, this is actually going to complete the order with payment. And we can see that the order status is proposed. So this is actually now pushed it into Order Manager. I also have the option to plug in my phone number here to get loyalty points for this order that I just placed. So I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. And now that I've checked in, I should be able to see those points on my account. And so now we want to actually see, that's the entire buyer flow. Let's take a look at what it looks like from the seller's perspective. So I'm going to go ahead and get back into my account. And then we're actually going to pull up our Sandbox Seller dashboard here. And so in order to do that, we'll just go into our test accounts and we'll pop open the Sandbox Seller Dashboard. Just give that a couple seconds to load. So when I'm in here and I want to look at Order Manager from the web dashboard, I can go ahead and click the Orders tab here. Now, if you had a point of sale and this were in production, you would, of course, just see it showing up on your iPad or iOS device. So now we can see my order here. We can see the customer information, that it's new. So we'll go ahead and click on to get a detail, and we see all the pickup details populating with the phone number, the pickup time, and our discounts are being represented here. So now we know that I'm going to go ahead and start working on this. So I'm going to go ahead and mark it in progress. And then once it's ready, I can indicate that it's ready to come and get picked up. And then after it's picked up, I can mark it as picked up. Now our order has made it all the way through fulfillment. And then if I want to, I can also just take a quick peek at the transaction details. And we will see that we have this all paid for, where the order source came from, and it had this promotion and was using a reward on it. Then we can also take a look into our customers to actually see that it's been updated for our customers' loyalty points. Now, unfortunately, I don't know if we all caught exactly how many points I had before, but we can see when we click on my profile here, we can see that I now have 94 points because it deducted 10 for the reward, and then I gained an additional 8 in order to redeem my previous order. So this shows what the integration looks like for an example application. I do want to make sure that I leave a little bit of time at the end there for some of the questions. So I'll do a quicker run through of some of the API calls that we were doing. So the first API call is pretty simple. There's a couple different ways that you can pull up a catalog. So when we actually look at this first page, we see that it has a full catalog. I always like to go in here and use the search catalog objects endpoint and filter by item. And this will actually just pull up all of my items. And so we can see that we have the bacon cheeseburger that I had ordered previously, and then we would just want to be using this variation ID. The next step when actually creating this order is, so of course we got to go to the orders API. We're going to create an order. We're going to generate the item potency key. We can just go ahead and do our default test account location here. And it's always a good idea if you have customer profiles set up to actually put the customer ID onto the order right here. But I'm just going to go ahead and go straight into creating our fulfillment. So we know that we're doing a pickup, and then we're going to fill out the pickup details. And so the first thing we'll do that in there is then fill out the recipient. And so our recipient was me. You can plug in my phone number. You want to be sure that you have either a phone number or an email address, because you need to have some kind of contact information for the recipient in there. So now that we have that, I'm just going to put in, I want this picked up sometime tomorrow. And then I believe then we just want to put in our line items. And we will put in that variation ID from earlier. And this should actually let us create an order if all goes well. And I probably put in the wrong ID. So let's actually just grab that really quick. So we will look at our variation. We will grab that item ID. I think I accidentally grabbed the parent ID. And we will regenerate our item potency key just to be safe. And see, now we have an order. And we can see that the fulfillment is showing up on that order. So one thing to note is the order will not actually show up in Order Manager until you actually have it paid, unless you're part of one of those early access programs. So in order to actually make this show up, we're going to go ahead and just create a payment for that really quickly. And so we'll just go to create payment at amount money. I believe it's just $10.95. And so here we're doing an item potency key, and then we're just going to use a test value for our nonce, and then we'll go ahead and plug in our order ID. And then if we run that, we should see that we have a completed payment and it's attached to the order. So if all goes well, we should be able to see this appearing in our Order Manager. And so we can see we have a new order here. So that does a quick run through of how to do this with the order head with Order Manager. I see that we only have about 3 minutes left. So with that, I think we'll actually just go ahead and end the demo here. And we will address any questions that we had come up in the chat there.
Yeah, Richard, so I see that the first question we have in the chat was around from Jared asking, does payment flexibility mean you'd be able to send a deposit paid or unpaid order to Square for payment when the customer picks up? So the payment flexibility that in early access program we have now requires an authorized payment to exist against that order. But I think the purely like buy online, pay in store scenario is something we're looking to support in the near future. And then let's see, then a question from Alex. Editing or paying tickets orders opened at restaurants. It seems like the API limits you from editing orders that are opened on the terminal by servers and accessing open tickets at the venue. Yeah, this is true. Orders that are opened from a Square point of sale today are not accessible via the API, but in the not so distant future, all point of sales will actually be using orders, and so you'll be able to see open orders directly through the API at that point. It looks like the next question's for you, Neal. Are the rewards also available in the in-store point of sale side too?
The response would be yes, but I'm not sure if that's towards Richard's demo or not sure what that is referring to.
Yeah, if we could maybe get like a clarification on that.
Yeah.
Because I mean, if the question is along the lines of like, are loyalty rewards supported like across in-person and point of sale? I think maybe you want to speak to that a little bit, Neal.
Across yeah, I mean it's across the wherever they're transacting, rewards are going to be available. So that would be the response to that.
Great. And then I think there's another question here from Kenneth. Where did that picture come from? Sorry, of the merchant come from? Sorry, maybe I missed some part of your demo. I'm not quite sure which pictures you're referring to. If you mean the pictures of the catalog objects, those were actually seeded. If you actually clone the demo app and you run some of those test things against your sandbox environment, that will actually create those products and upload those images, if that's what you're referring to. And then we have another one from Alex. When will the pay at table be open? We have clients that want this yesterday.
So for the early access program I had mentioned where you can edit carts directly from like a mobile app, that would be possible through this program, so long as all the ordering and payment is done through the mobile app and not through the Square point of sale. As for being able to pay for an open order from the Square point of sale from a mobile app, that's something that would be enabled once, like I said, once we have all of our Square point of sale systems natively speaking our orders language. Like I said, that is something we're actively working on right now.
Great. So it looks like we're at time. I can give a quick answer to Merv on what advice we'd give to a young software developer who wants to work in payments. Please join us in the lounge and bring your question to us there, and we'd be more than happy to give you a little bit of advice over there. With that, I think that we've actually come to the end of our workshop. Thank you all for attending. Thank you, Aaron and Neal, for presenting orders and loyalty for everyone, and enjoy the rest of Unboxed.